Born in 1994 in the small town of Barica, Jon Rahm Rodriguez didn't get off to the easiest of starts in life. It was evident immediately after being born that Jon was born with a birth defect. After 20 minutes of being born, Jon was ripped away from his mother and was operated on straight away. He was born with a condition called talipes, more commonly known as clubbed foot, a rare condition where a baby's foot or feet are turned in and under. Jon's foot was broken in several places, casted and left to heal with the hope that everything went okay. His parents had to take him back to the hospital every week to be checked on and to be recasted. Surgery had gone well and baby Jon was on the mend. Unfortunately though, his right leg didn't grow at the same rate as his other and left him with an imbalance of 1.5 centimeters. He was also left with extremely little mobility in his right ankle. But these limitations didn't stop Jon from participating in an abundance of sports. He was football mad and a huge Atletico Bilbao fan. He enjoyed canoeing and even kung fu. In 1997, the Ryder Cup was being held at Valderrama in Spain. The atmosphere was huge in Spain and the media coverage was far and wide. Jon's parents, a daughter and Angela, had never played the game, neither had they seen it in person. But with it being so close to home, they decided to make a day of it and see what the hype was all about. Seve Ballesteros captained Europe to win by just 1 point in a dramatic fashion. And after seeing one of the greatest ever victories, the Rahm family was hooked. Rahm began playing golf with his parents at age 6, and it wasn't long before he was noticeably better than his mum and dad. After starting golf, Jon had noticed that he had another defect within his body, this time in his wrists. His wrists weren't able to cup and hinge like you or I can. His would only bow. Long before the bow in the golf swing was made popular, Jon was working with what he had. His swing was like most kids starting out, long and over swinging using his dad's clubs. At age 12, Jon started practicing at a driving range not too far away, but the only one within miles. It had one bunker, an artificial putting green, and several bays. He began getting lessons from the pro Eduardo, who immediately took a shine to Jon and began making swing changes right away. Jon was a big lad, even at 12 years old. He would hit the ball miles farther than anyone else. The only problem was, he couldn't hit it straight. After learning all about Jon's defect, Eduardo thought Rahm would benefit from a shorter swing, not only for accuracy, but to take less pressure off his foot as well. See, Eduardo's philosophy wasn't textbook. It was realizing that every anatomy is different and letting your body dictate how you swing. Everyone is different, and we shouldn't be looking for that Instagram swing that just looks good. Even with Jon's shorter backswing, he was hitting it miles past any other junior and adult, and now much straighter. By age 14 and his new swing fully tuned in, Jon was entering big junior competitions around the country and winning them. He then attended high school in Madrid where he was competing all around Europe, winning huge events like the Jack Leglais Trophy and the Banalac Trophy. With Spanish greats such as Seve and Sergio influencing him, Jon had made his mind up he himself wanted to become a professional golfer. Whilst at home, the nearest course, the La Rabea Alavar, was over 1 hour drive away. With his parents taking him there and back every day, this was starting to not only be very expensive but very time consuming as well. So when old enough, his parents would rent an apartment just off the 10th tee and Jon would stay there to play golf and only golf. He and his friends would practice day and night. Wet, cold, windy, they didn't care, as long as they were having fun. To this day, Jon believes it was here where he learnt to compete. With his school days over, Jon now had to think about his career and his education. From an early age, his father pushed him to move to the United States because he believed that's where the future of golf laid. Jon had obviously attracted a lot of attention through his junior career, so he had the pick of the bunch when choosing. He chose Arizona State University on a golf scholarship whilst barely speaking a word of English. He would listen to American rap to help him understand phrases and slang to help him fit in a little easier. But it wasn't his English speaking that got people's attention. Jon began ripping up the turf in America and that alone got people watching. Rambo's college career was one of the greatest anyone has ever seen. In total, he won 11 college golf tournaments, which is second in school history, behind only Phil Mickelson's 16 collegiate wins. Rahm did set his own records though. He became the only player to win the Ben Hogan Award twice, was the leading individual at the 2014 Eisenhower Trophy. He then came 5th as an amateur at the Phoenix Open during his junior year, 3 shots back from winner Brooks Koepka. On April 1st, he became the world #1 amateur. His first stint lasted 25 consecutive weeks, after which he surrendered it and regained it and held it for an additional 35 weeks. His total of 60 weeks is an all-time record. He won the Mark H. McCormack Medal in 2015 as the leading player in the World Amateur Golf ranking, which qualified him for the following year's US Open and Open Championship. He closed out his collegiate career by winning the Pac-12 Conference Championship and NCAA Regional Championship before finishing tied for third at the National Championship. He was the low amateur at the 2016 US Open, finishing his final tournament as an amateur in a tie for 23rd place at 7 over par. Rambo had proven everything, and there was only one way up from here. After the US Open, Rahm turned professional, which meant that he had forfeited his exemption into the 2016 Open Championship. The next week, Rahm played in his first event as a pro at the Quicken Loans National. He held or shared the lead for the first 2 rounds and finished tied for 3rd place, 4 strokes behind the winner. The finish was enough for Rahm to regain entry into the Open, as the Quicken Loans National was part of the Open qualifying series. The first taste of tricky conditions at Royal Troon were just a little bit too much for Rahm, as he finished tied 59th. To end an incredible year of golf, Rahm finished tied runner-up in the RBC Canadian Open, securing special temporary member status for the remainder of the season. He gained enough points as a non-member to earn a PGA Tour card for 2017. With that gift, Rahm was not slowing down, and he was about to unleash his dominance upon the field without holding back. In late January 2017, Rahm won the Farmers Insurance Open with a 60-foot eagle putt on the final hole to notch his maiden PGA Tour title. With that win, he jumped from 137th to 46th in the official World Golf Rankings, and also gained entry into the Masters Tournament, the Players Championship and the PGA Championship, and all of the World Golf Championship events. This was huge for Rahm. On the 2nd of March, Rahm played in his first World Golf Championship event at the WGC Mexico Championship, where he shot 12 under par to finish tied 3rd, 2 strokes back from winner Dustin Johnson. In his second WGC event at the Dell Technologies Match Play, he debuted as the number 21 seed and made it to the final, being matched up with new enemy Dustin Johnson. Rahm was 5 down after 8 holes, but won holes 9, 10, 13, 15 and 16 to get to only 1 down going into the 18th. Both players made par on the final hole of the match, and Rahm finished runner-up in his WGC Match Play debut, which allowed him to ascend to a new career-high world ranking of 14th. Every player has that one guy who just seems to get in their way of greatness throughout their career, and Dustin Johnson was becoming that man. To end the year and now 10th in the World Golf Rankings, Rahm began his career on the European Tour. In his first event at the Open de France, he came 10th, and then 1 week later he won his first European Tour event, winning the Irish Open. To continue his success in Europe, Rahm won the DP World Tour Championship in Dubai for the final event of the European season. At this point, it seemed like Rahm had been around forever. To start the 2018 season, Rambo was runner-up to arch nemesis Dustin Johnson once again at the Century Tournament of Champions. Later in the month, Rahm won the Career Builder Challenge after a sudden death playoff with Andrew Landry for his second PGA Tour victory. The win lifted Rahm to then a career high of 2nd in the World Golf Rankings. This made it 4 wins in 38 professional starts for Rahm, a ratio bettered only by Tiger Woods in the past 30 years. He continued his loyalty to the European Tour by winning the Open de España, something that meant so much to Jon, winning on home soil. Months later, he helped Europe secure the Ryder Cup and even beat Tiger Woods in singles on Sunday. In 2019, he continued his dominance throughout both tours, winning the Zurich Classic, Irish Open, and won the Open de España for the 2nd consecutive time in Madrid. He would continue winning ways, winning the season-long Race to Dubai title on the European Tour with a victory at the DP World Tour Championship in Dubai, also winning the European Tour Golfer of the Year. There were only 2 things left to tick off the list, and the first one came after winning the Memorial Tournament, lifting him to number 1 in the World Golf Rankings, becoming the 2nd Spaniard after Seve to do so. Whilst on top of the world and rival DJ trying to snatch his spot back, the pair went down to the wire in a thrilling spectacle of sport, sinking a 66-foot putt to win the BMW Championship. Being number 1 in the world, you can frankly be sponsored by whoever you like. He ended his sponsorship with TaylorMade to partner with Callaway in a multi-year sponsorship for equipment and clothes. With new clubs in the bag, Jon entered the Memorial Tournament as a defending champion before he was forced to withdraw due to COVID-19. At the time of the withdrawal, he had completed the 3rd round with a 6-stroke lead. The world stopped and watched in disbelief as Rahm was broken the news on the last hole. After such a traumatic experience, anybody else would have broke down and claimed it was all unfair, but not Rambo. He tightened his bandana and went to war. On the 20th of June at Torrey Pines, Rahm finished with 2 birdies on the final 2 holes to win his first major tournament at the US Open. He dedicated his win to late Spanish golfer Seve Ballesteros. Whilst on a high and surely not getting struck by lightning twice, Rahm headed to the Olympics in Tokyo. Just before departing and after taking his 3rd COVID test, Rahm tested positive and was forced to withdraw. Another huge blow in Rahm's early early career. 2 huge competitions stripped away from him. But this won't affect Rambo. He's had time to start a family with college sweetheart and now wife, Kelly Cahill, who gave birth to their next Spanish superstar, Kepa. See, Jon Rahm is everything you want in a champion of our sport. He has the fierce Spanish passion and that tiger roar. Someone who has redesigned our perspective of what a golf swing should look like. To list all of his achievements this far is incredible. It will only grow from here. As of writing this, he is still our #1 golfer, but he has plenty of competition chasing him down. I can't see him getting comfy anytime soon, and I expect a huge couple of years for Jon Rahm.